The Mewtwo project ended over 20 years ago, but the damage it caused is still shaping the Pokemon world today. Genius scientists died. Team Rocket built an empire. Pokemon cloning disappeared forever, and a legendary fan theory comes to life. The very first consequence of the Mewtwo project was that the project destroyed itself. Offshore in a laboratory in Cinnabar Island is where the Mewtwo project birthed the legendary Mewtwo. It woke up without identity and purpose, and yet Mewtwo was still a success, as many scientists gathered around him cheering and celebrating. Mewtwo learns immediately the details of its creation, that it was made from Mew's DNA, how it was just an experiment, and how it isn't much more than an object of human creation. This enrages Mewtwo, leading to an explosive psychic outburst. He destroys the laboratory that birthed him and all the scientists with it. Mewtwo's untamed power resulted in the immediate death of his creators, and another massive shift came from that laboratory destruction, because now all advancements in cloning technology was reset to zero. The ability to create duplicate Pokemon died with the scientists, and we never had another Pokemon cloned since. In its first moments of active life, the Mewtwo project had already erased its own lineage. Mewtwo devoured its parents in its waking moments, and now whatever happens next is a problem. The project's impact would only just be beginning though, with a special arrival of another important player. You see, in the wake of this destruction is where Mewtwo starts to fall into the purpose of what he was created for, because the second fallout wasn't destruction, it was power. The Team Rocket leader Giovanni, the one who funded its creation, has now arrived to collect what he has paid for, and he manages to convince Mewtwo into becoming his weapon. And with that, the most dangerous criminal organization in Kanto suddenly possessed the strongest Pokemon on Earth. The product of the Mewtwo project now belongs to someone else, and whatever he has planned might be even worse than what the scientists would have done. Mewtwo became restrained by a robotic suit, engineered to focus its power. This led to it being used for the bidding of Giovanni. The first task he was given was to help increase the power of Team Rocket, so he helped them through building their arsenal of Pokemon, making mass capture very easy. He gave them an army. Giovanni would continue to use Mewtwo in more ways. Even though he was a giant in the underworld, he was still a Pokemon gym leader, and he would exploit Mewtwo's power in Pokemon battles at his very own gym. This served the Team Rocket agenda perfectly, as it would cement his main cover and also give him the title as the strongest gym in Kanto as well. Mewtwo would become a sort of secret weapon for Team Rocket for tougher missions. One could say the Mewtwo project gave rise to Team Rocket, and it became an unbeatable weapon for the organization, basically cementing them as the shadow hand of the Kanto region that would become way too big to ignore. It was their greatest asset for a long time, but the legendary Pokemon was too intelligent. It could know that it was being used. So everything turned upside down the day Mewtwo decided to rebel and leave Team Rocket. Mewtwo left a shattered Team Rocket base in his wake and developed a strong resentment for humans because of this, which would affect everything he does from this point forward. The project still wasn't finished destroying lives. Escaping Team Rocket solved one problem, but it led to an even bigger one. You see, he inherited the will of wanting to subjugate the world. Mewtwo inherited a bit of human ideology. Humans wanted domination, and eventually Mewtwo wanted it as well. However, by a different means. And he goes about this by inviting various trainers from around the world to battle it, as Mewtwo branded itself as the strongest trainer known to man. Mewtwo culled the weak by creating an artificial hurricane with its incredible power, and after it had gotten the cream of the crop, his true motives started to show. This even resulted in Ash Ketchum and friends having their very first encounter with Mewtwo and his own clone Pokemon. Mewtwo put its monsters against the challengers as a means of proving to them that it was superior. And this kind of power gets to Mewtwo's head. He believes he is better than all Pokemon. He believes he is better than all humans. He hates humankind, and he demonstrates all of this as he is about to commit another huge massacre. But that's when Mew shows up. It challenges its clone brother, stalemating it in a damn near never-ending psychic battle. This fight reaches its climax though when Ash throws himself in the middle of them both, which stops their raging combat but pretty much claims Ash's life. Mewtwo's unending thirst for revenge has now created the premature death of the greatest Pokemon trainer, and this could have easily altered the story of Pokemon completely. Luckily, Ash gets revived by the tears of nearby Pokemon, and this gesture melts Mewtwo's heart, so he decides to seek solitude instead of world domination. Now, the most powerful psychic Pokemon known to man seeks to hide itself from humanity. In both anime and the game, Mewtwo left human society to be by itself. In the Kanto games, Mewtwo actually went to reside in Cerulean City Cave to get away from it all and live in peace. And in the anime, a similar thing happened, where it went to Mount Kenya in Johto and then to Zero Island, which belongs to no region. Mewtwo desires to be at peace and is picking the most secluded places to do so. It now only appears to protect Pokemon that have been abused. One of the greatest fallouts of the Mewtwo project now is that humanity's greatest success can never live amongst humans ever again. But perhaps the project's final consequence is one that we still don't fully understand. You see, in the Kanto games, there is an important building that is integral in the early days of the Mewtwo project, which is the Cinnabar Mansion. This is where the seeds were sown for the Mew clone. But for some reason, there is a certain Pokemon that wanders the hall of this mansion after the departure of Mewtwo. And that's Ditto. You see, I believe this popular theory that the purple blob is a failed clone of Mew. The theory is based on two things: that Ditto is the only Pokemon that can learn Transform, which is a signature move for Mew itself. Along with that, Ditto and Mew share the same shiny color palette, which is a very rare coincidence. What even solidifies it more for me is how they have gathered around Mewtwo's new home, the Cerulean City Cave. It seems that it is drawn to its sibling in some way. You see, the Mewtwo project came as a result of man playing God. It ruined lives, destroyed systems, and almost cost us the literal main character. This is the consequence of man venturing where he doesn't belong, and now humanity's greatest success wants nothing to do with us.